Good mid-morning. It is Wednesday. We've got this weather system up on the radar right now. This radar showing some scattered showers, thunder showers as well in parts of the central coast. You'll see some lightning strikes. Let me pull the graphic in here. You can see this is in the last half hour or so, but you can see these lightning strikes up around Kalinga. Just they're real small, these little white areas. But anyway, you've got some special weather statements in this area. All along these bands of moisture as they wrap north towards the Santa Clara Valley, there's thunderstorm potential. And it's just subtropical moisture, upper level, cut off low. We talked about this thing. It is going to continue to kind of plague us and create problems for the models over the next 24 to 36 hours. So the rotation is like this. You can see it, right? So it's wrapping around. And it looks like the main low center is kind of pulling back a little bit or retrograding. But it's the thing with this system, and you'll see that coming up in the satellite image, is detached from the jet stream. So it's kind of a little free radical, if you will. It's like we talked about yesterday, that getting, an eddy in a river that gets behind a rock. It's not going anywhere. The river keeps going by, the jet stream keeps going by, but this spinner just kind of drifts around. And anything, not anything, but it's kind of, the models have a tough time with it, is enough to say. So some of these rainfall accumulations have been pretty respectable. So let's see, I can pull some on here. Here we go. So up around Point Conception, almost a half inch of rain. Up around Santa Barbara, quarter inch of rain. These are significant rainfall totals for this time of year. Helpful for fire danger. It shows that these are relatively wet thunderstorms thus far. As you go further north, you may run into some more dry air. But so far, it's been pretty wet. So as you move into the Big Sur area, you're up at a quarter of an inch of rain down towards, quarter of an inch seems to be the number. So these are rainfall accumulations as of this morning. And you see, we haven't had anything reported this far north, although I did get a few sprinkles at my house, and we are showing 0.16 here. I'm not sure if that's, some sprinkles up in the Bay Area as well. So that's pretty good, 0.15. So some of this energy continuing to work its way north. The GFS model, the 500 millibar vorticity, kind of clearly shows this. It shows the jet stream here, and then it shows this guy just kind of lone wolfing it down here, right? Here's the low. So it's detached. There's a ridge of high pressure kind of slowing it down and pushing it back a little bit and then pushing it forward. So what we're going to do now is look at the model. Now this comes up, grape growers, I know you guys are under the gun right now with the harvest. There's farming interest, there's construction interest. There's a lot of you guys are like, I don't need rain right now, man. For whatever reason it is. And this low is going to bring that potential of rain to continue through the next 24 hours. So here's what the GFS model does. Kind of brings up the coast. Here we are about this afternoon. No, I'm sorry. This is a little later run, isn't it? 12Z Wednesday morning. Okay, so this is now. So you can kind of see it just lingering and then drifts east, and then it kind of pushes back down into Southern California. So really, that low, that energy takes up a significant portion of the state, or a percentage of the state. So it's the size of, if you take California, it's 20% the size of the state. So it's going to, as it drifts over different regions, it's covering a lot of land mass, pretty much. And so the potential for thunderstorms, you can see that whole zone exists today. This is through Friday morning into LA. So let's take another look at another model. We'll go look at the HRRR. That's a rapid update model. This is what I would do today. I would take the radar and I would take this rapid update model. If you're have wine interests, for instance, I know that, again, that's right. It's right in your wheelhouse for the crush. So this is the HRRR, and this is through Wednesday morning, about now, and this afternoon. So this one kicks it north a little bit. So that's got to put you on pins and needles. If we went in, let's see if we can go a little closer. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll see. I'm not sure. Let me check for runs on this. Sorry. I just want to make sure we got the latest run. Yeah, we do. Make sure. Yeah, we're on the latest run. So yeah, it does look like the potential exists for some pretty good showers potential. We've seen already that this thing can produce showers. We've seen up to 1/4 of an inch down around Big Sur and Santa Barbara, Point Conception, areas down south of Santa Cruz. So as this thing comes north, there's no reason to expect, there's a little more dry air up here, but there's no reason to not expect it to drop, 1/10 of an inch at least in some places, especially if you're into the coverage area. So this is a North American model, not as granular, but goes out further. And so this is this morning, right now, and this is a little less dramatic. This is this afternoon. This is North American model. So remember that HRRR is going to update in an hour. So, and then this is tonight. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the grapes. So, okay. Well, okay, let's go back to HRRR. Let's see this again. Sorry. This is the most recent update, but this is going to update a couple more times here, in the next 2 hours. But it really just shows that. It just shows Napa Valley, you're sort of in a bit of a bullseye there for some scattered showers. And in the rest of the Bay Area and Central California, in the bullseye for potential thunderstorms. What do you do with that? You just, hour by hour is what I do. I would go HRRR and I would take a look at that. I'd keep my eyes on the radar. So I have this guy, which is Radar Scope, which is pretty awesome. This is a pay-to-play. It's not cheap, but it's real time, right off the Weather Service, or right off the radar, essentially. But you can see where those showers are and where they're going. And this is pretty juicy outside Salinas. So far, most of it's been offshore. And you can kind of see some scattered showers drifting into the Napa Valley. But as this band, which is forecast to make its way further north, I see a little bit of a backwards pull on that. I know that's the way the low's spinning, but it also looks to me a little bit like, let's see if we can find where's our satellite? Oh, dang. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. Since we're in it, right? Let's go satellite, live camera, weather. Sorry. Current satellite. I'm just going right to the. Then we'll go here. Then we'll go here. Let's just see if we can get a quick fix on it. There we go. Sorry you have to see all this, but I just want to keep you as updated as we can. So there's the low here. Here we are. Yeah, it's hard to imagine we're not going to see some scattered showers in the Bay Area. We already have, but even more. In terms of thunderstorms, you are running into more dry air as you go further north, so you might get into some dry thunderstorms. So this is sort of pay attention as we go forward. This is the live camera. This is out of down towards Fresno County, and you can see that subtropical moisture streaming north, and you can see some vertical development, or not, a little bit out here. We're facing pretty much towards the south, looking down south towards Bakersfield, looking towards Bakersfield. That's this morning. This is Walnut Grove, I believe, and this is looking north towards Sacramento. Okay, that's about right, because the system's not here yet. This is Lake Tahoe. They're still waiting for the system. This will be sun coming up at kind of over by South Lake Tahoe, above Fallen Leaf Lake, and no subtropical moisture there yet, but it'll filter in as well. This system, based on the satellite that we were looking at, it looks like it's kind of favoring the valley and the coast, because it's kind of hanging off, at least in this phase of the low's development. It's forecast tomorrow to kind of drift back over the Sierra Nevada. Again, so it's just like a bad kid on a bike, I don't know if that's a great analogy, but it's just like, I'm going over here, I'm going over here, I'm going over here, and you really, we're paying, topography is going to steer this thing. Some ambient winds are going to steer it. It's the storms that it develops within itself will steer it. So it's got a lot of mechanisms that are hard to pick up on as the model. And so anyone will tell you as a meteorologist, cutoff lows are just brutal. So we talked about it yesterday. We're talking about it today. This is Southern California. Kind of, most of the activity is to the north of you right now, but it will turn around and come back your way as we go into the next 24 hours as well. This is Mount Tamalpais, and a little bit of fog trying to show up along the coast in the headlands. It's going to be a nice day, cooler today. Ooh, little raindrop there, huh? Yeah, all right. Little raindrop. That was cool. These live cameras are awesome. When I first started in weather, I used to use a lot of live cameras, and people, as a relative of mine, go, "Oh, you're crazy doing live cameras. We want to see graphics." I'm like, well, live cameras, that's weather. It's so weather. It's so weather. Like, that's what I want you to do, is to be able to look at that live camera and go, oh, there's no inversion, or it's very shallow, or whatever. I remember kind of going, nice relative statement there. That was the... what was that? That was the profiler. This is the concerns, the thunderstorm chances. The National Weather Service put this out, and it keeps it in through 8 o'clock this evening, on September 24th, today. So through 8 o'clock, we've got this opportunity for thunderstorms and showers. And again, right now, I'm not as worried about thunderstorms, even though they will probably happen, especially at the coastal sections. But I think there's enough moisture with these that it's been not too much dry lightning. But I do worry about that. But the grapes, I know that's a big thing. You can lose a whole crop if you get, or you can lose a high percentage of your crop if you get rain on them. This is 93 right now in Redding today. That's cooler than yesterday by 7 degrees. San Francisco, 73 degrees. That's cooler. It was warm yesterday. Remember, it was in the 80s in San Francisco. So nice, pleasant day. And then tomorrow, temperatures stay about the same. About the same? About the same. Yeah, about the same. So tomorrow's going to be a nice day as well. And then here is our system here. You can see it. Isn't it funny? Because you're like, there's not much moisture here. It doesn't look like much, but it's because it's coming from the subtropics. It's heavily laden with moisture. So even that dull amount, which indicates maybe not as much moisture available coming in, when it gets further north, it really blossoms. Then you got some rain coming down in parts of southeastern Arizona. Then you got these offshore water. These are concerns for strong winds and the thunderstorm winds, gusts. So they're talking to the mariners going, okay, listen, we got these thunderstorms that are going to skirt the coast over the next 24 hours. So, pay attention. So that's the national map. This is the 6 to 10 day. And it doesn't tell us anything we didn't know. And a little more rain than average. There's a system coming in next week. Was it next? Let's see, today's Thursday. Right? Yeah, it's next week. That looks like it could be our first brush with like a frontal system. Like with extratropical rain. Earthquakes. We can look at. This is the last 7 days of 4.5s or bigger. So that's 4.5s are good sized quakes, right? And you can see, look at them. There's a lot. That's a lot of activity. 7 days. We can go the last day of all magnitudes. And the reason I show you this is, that's interesting, all magnitudes, and they're still, it's all, things are always moving, right? So you go, oh, there weren't any earthquakes today, or this is all just in the last 24 hours. A lot of these are microquakes. These are some good sized quakes, obviously. But it's always moving. The North American plate is always moving. It's moving north. And so it's continuing to light these subduction zones around the Pacific, the ring of fire. And this is why every time you think, oh, you haven't had an earthquake in a while, oh, you will. And if you didn't have a bunch today, these are all in the last 24 hours. And these are microquakes, like especially up here by the geysers. They always have a lot of microquakes up there. But that's in the last 24 hours. You've got how many quakes? Look at all those. Just rumbling. So the Earth is alive and active, and that's what that is meant to show you. And right now, I'd say we've been in more active phases, but it's the last week was pretty active for good-sized quakes, I'd say, around the ring. And then this is the forecast. This is through Thursday. This is through Friday, and this is surf. And you can see right there is when, that's when this is October 2nd, but this is some significant swell here if that transpires. And that's around October 2nd and 3rd. This is Ocean Beach today. Glassy, not a lot of wind. The winds are kind of light. They're kind of south-southeast because of that counterclockwise flow of the low. There's fog, but it's barely there. It's barely there. And nothing better than walking your dog on the beach, truthfully. I had a dog named Casey, and I trained him really well because he's a big dog. I didn't want him to scare people. And he'd go down and sit. Back when you could do this, he would sit at the beach and just watch me surf for 2-3 hours. And then he'd wait for me to come back out. And it was awesome. That was awesome. That's a good time. That's nothing better than having your dog waiting for you when you're surfing. But I don't know if you can do that. I don't see guys doing that much anymore. Because there's so many people on the beach, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know if you can. Maybe you can't do that anymore. I don't know. This is Zuma Beach, kind of fun. Much smaller in Southern California, isn't it? But cleaner because you're inside the point. Like that. That's why Southern California, like that looks like surfing to most of you because you're like, it's a surfing. And Ocean Beach looks like gnarly, right? It is, but it's because it faces west and there's no point. This is inside Point Conception. Point Doom is just down there. And when you sit inside a point, you see how clean the waves get. They wrap in, they clean up. They get smaller for sure, but they look more like surfing waves. And they are actually, when there's a lot of swell, it's way more surfable down there in terms of just getting good long rides. This is Mount Shasta, which we often do. And I guess we're not going to see much today, are we? Yeah, there's no moisture up there yet. And I think we're going to see some snow on this mountain next week. I really do. So I think that that system that's coming in looks like it's got some game. This is that subtropical moisture further south and further east. So this is Mount Whitney. That's kind of cool. I love the clouds. You get the sun poking through. But it doesn't tell there's not a lot of vertical development at this time of day. It's not, the dynamics aren't there. There's some moisture, but it's not horribly convective. And then jellyfish, sea nettles, they're big, 15 foot on those tentacles is what I'm hearing. Seals, Farallon Islands, nice day at the Farallon Islands, which you can say like a couple times a year. This is kind of by the cove where you bring the boats in. And you have to, like I said before, there are a lot of sharks in there. Well, what they're waiting for. This is pupping season, so the seals are having their babies in the September, October, and then the sharks kind of wait around, because this is deep water going into this cove, and so the sharks wait around for the babies to go swimming, which is diabolically smart, but definitely when you go there, when you get out on the boat, like there's stories of guys. I don't know if you've ever talk to anybody who works at the bird sanctuary out there, but they'll tell you they see them all the time because they lift you up in a hoist and you go out over the water. It's kind of a little bit of a thrill, but the thing that's most thrilling is that the water's crystal clear, and if there's a shark, you can see it. And for a while there, they had a shark that was hanging out by the boat launch, this was years ago when I haven't been there in years. So anyways, Farallon Islands, and then this is International Space Station. Just because I got on this the other day, and this heading into South America, it's just like, wow, 4K, right? That's a good picture live from the International Space Station in Earth's geosynchronous orbit. And I'm like, wow, isn't that amazing? And technology's of course, we were doing that back during the Apollo missions, but the cameras sucked. These cameras are like, oh my God. So I know it's mesmerizing. Okay, so I guess the takeaway today is this thing is gonna, let me move this out of the way. Thanks for hanging in, by the way. This guy right here. So you see kind of what we're up against? And then this is the HRRR. I'm gonna back it up again. So, right, this is it. This is 12, this is about now, and then so this takes you through this afternoon. So the Napa Valley, you are gonna get some showers are gonna be in the area, and then even some thunderstorms possible in Livermore Valley. Okay, that's a lot. There's a lot, huh? But I hope you enjoyed it. I did the weather off the top. I'll bookmark these things too, so you don't have to We'll sit through all this stuff. I'll see you back here.